Willow Creek, California, is a town nestled amidst rolling hills, a picture of tranquility. But in the early hours of June 14, 2023, this peace shattered. For a full 6 hours, an invisible, inexplicable force ensnared every resident. Those who tried to leave, no matter the road taken, found themselves back exactly where they started, creating a terrifying loop of confusion and escalating panic. This wasn't a blockade, it was something far stranger, a distortion of reality that defied all known explanations. The event, now simply referred to as the Willow Creek incident, left a permanent scar on the community, raising questions that persist to this day. The evening of June 13 began like any other. Residents of Willow Creek were winding down, unaware that an ordinary Tuesday night would soon devolve into an unprecedented ordeal. David Miller, a truck driver on a tight schedule, was among the first to encounter the anomaly. Preparing for an early morning delivery run, Miller left his home on the town's east side just after 1 a.m. His route, familiar to him for years, involved taking Highway 12 out of town, a straight shot towards the state border. He expected an uneventful drive, a routine journey he'd made countless times before. According to Miller's sworn statement to local police, his journey started normally. He reached the town limits, passed the Welcome to Willow Creek sign, and continued on Highway 12. Approximately 10 minutes later, he checked his dashboard GPS, which indicated he was still on course. However, a growing sense of unease began to creep in. The road felt different, Miller recounted. Like I was driving in circles, even though the map showed a straight line. He dismissed it as fatigue, but the feeling persisted, an almost imperceptible sensation of disorientation despite the clear visual cues of the highway. Miller continued driving for what felt like another 15 minutes, expecting to see the familiar landmark of the old abandoned gas station, which marked his usual exit point. Instead, to his profound astonishment, he found himself pulling up to the very same Welcome to Willow Creek sign he had passed earlier. I thought I'd made a wrong turn somehow, even though it felt impossible, Miller told investigators. His GPS, however, showed him still far outside the town, in the very direction he believed he was heading. This was the first recorded instance of the looping roads, a phenomenon that would soon plunge the entire town into confusion. Convinced it must be a malfunction, Miller pulled over, reset his GPS, and double-checked his directions. He then attempted to leave town again, this time with a heightened sense of vigilance. I watched every single road marker, every tree, every bend, he reported. Yet, after another period of driving, he once again found himself inexplicably at the town's edge, facing the Welcome to Willow Creek sign from the opposite direction. The GPS still insisted he was miles away. This pattern repeated twice more before Miller, shaken and bewildered, finally returned to his home, unable to reconcile his experience with reality. As dawn approached, David Miller's isolated incident began to multiply. Sarah Chen, a night shift nurse attempting to drive home from Willow Creek Medical Center at 3:30 a.m., reported a similar experience on the town's western exit, Main Street. I distinctly remember passing the old mill, but then suddenly, the hospital was in my rearview mirror again, Chen stated. Her car's navigation system, a factory-installed unit, showed her correctly progressing along Main Street, despite the visual evidence of her being back in town. These early reports were initially dismissed as sleep deprivation or GPS errors by emergency dispatchers. By 4 a.m., the Willow Creek 911 dispatch center began receiving a surge of calls. Not about accidents or crimes, but from increasingly panicked residents reporting bizarre navigation issues. Callers were disoriented, some angry, some genuinely scared, reported Officer Elena Ramirez, one of the dispatchers on duty that night. They all described driving out of town only to snap back without explanation. The calls poured in from every major exit road, Highway 12, Main Street, and the Old Mill Road. It became clear this wasn't an isolated incident or a few faulty GPS units. A critical piece of evidence emerged from these early reports, the consistent and peculiar GPS behavior. multiple drivers provided video recordings or photographs from their phone and car navigation systems. While visually approaching the town limits, their GPS screens would often show their vehicle icon continuing forward, sometimes even registering a greater distance traveled than physically possible in the time elapsed. Yet, the physical car would inexplicably reappear within town. It was like the GPS was showing an alternate reality, commented digital forensics expert Dr. Aries Thorne, who later analyzed the data. Beyond the digital distortions, the physical reality was undeniable. Witnesses described turning a corner or cresting a hill, only to find themselves facing familiar town landmarks. James Henderson, a local delivery driver, vividly recalled his experience on Old Mill Road. "I saw the distinctive curve of the bridge over Willow Creek, then suddenly, the sign for Miller's Hardware was right there, on my left, instead of behind me." This wasn't merely a navigational error, it was a physical redirection, as if the very fabric of the roads outside Willow Creek had been warped to lead everything back to its center. By 4:30 a.m., Police Chief Robert Thompson understood the gravity of the situation. Initial reports were baffling, but when my own officers started encountering the same impossible loops, I knew we had a crisis on our hands, Chief Thompson stated in his official report. He immediately dispatched patrol cars to all known exit points, instructing officers to observe and assist any stranded motorists. His primary concern shifted from explaining individual incidents to managing a town-wide phenomenon that had no precedent. The small police force was quickly stretched thin, facing an enemy they couldn't see or comprehend. As the situation intensified, Chief Thompson attempted to issue an emergency broadcast to residents via the local radio station, KWLK 98.7 FM. However, the message was met with severe interference. It was just static, then garbled voices, impossible to decipher, recalled Martha Jenkins, a Willow Creek resident who tried to tune in. Multiple reports corroborated this. Any attempts to transmit or receive signals from outside Willow Creek were met with unusual distortions, preventing clear communication. This isolation only heightened the growing fear, as residents felt cut off from the outside world. Amidst the looping roads and radio static, another perplexing detail emerged: strange timestamps. Several residents noticed their digital clocks, on phones, car dashboards, and even wristwatches, displaying inconsistent times. Amanda Peterson, a student, captured a screenshot of her phone showing 4:52 a.m., while her car's clock displayed 4:40 a.m., and a nearby public clock tower showed 5:01 a.m. It was like time itself was glitching, Peterson recounted. These discrepancies weren't uniform. Some devices would reset, others would jump forward or backward, adding another layer of unreality to the night's events. While most witnesses reported the looping phenomenon as purely navigational and physical, a subset of accounts included visual anomalies. Jessica Thorne, who attempted to leave via Highway 12 at 5 a.m., claimed to have seen faint, shimmering lights just beyond the tree line, almost like heat haze but in the dead of night. Conversely, other drivers on the same road, at roughly the same time, reported seeing nothing out of the ordinary besides the inexplicable return to town. These conflicting reports added to the confusion, making it difficult for investigators to form a cohesive narrative. As the hours dragged on, panic began to take a firm hold on Willow Creek. The initial confusion gave way to genuine fear. Residents called friends and family outside town, only to be met with confusion. Their loved ones couldn't understand why they simply wouldn't drive out. This inability to explain, combined with the impossible physical reality of being trapped, created an acute sense of helplessness. People gathered in the town square, drawn by the siren calls of police cars and the shared disbelief, seeking answers that no one could provide. The tranquil town was now gripped by a collective dread. With no external contact, Chief Thompson initiated an internal investigation, dispatching officers to interview every person who had attempted to leave. Patrol vehicles were directed to drive the perimeter roads repeatedly, logging every attempt to exit. "We needed hard data, something tangible to prove what was happening," Thompson later explained. Officers reported the exact same looping phenomenon, with their patrol car GPS units also displaying incorrect locations, mirroring the civilian reports. This internal validation confirmed that the issue was not subjective, but an objective reality affecting everyone within the anomaly's radius. The nature of the looping road suggested an invisible boundary around Willow Creek. Vehicles would drive for a certain distance, varying slightly depending on the road, before being redirected for the snapback to a point within the town limits, typically near the welcome sign or a major intersection. No physical barrier was ever seen or felt, there was no sudden jolt or change in road conditions. It was a seamless, almost dreamlike transition, leading drivers to question their own sanity before realizing the shared experience. The consistency of this invisible boundary was chilling. While Willow Creek residents were trapped within, their worried relatives and even some regional law enforcement from neighboring towns attempted to enter. Reports from the Sheriff's Department in Goldstone, 30 miles east, indicated their patrol cars experienced severe GPS malfunctions and disorienting drives when approaching Willow Creek. Officer Michael Vance of Goldstone Sheriff's Department described driving past Willow Creek's actual entry point, according to my GPS, only to find myself on a completely different highway, miles away. It suggested the anomaly wasn't just holding people in, but pushing outsiders away. As the clock neared 7 a.m., marking 6 hours since David Miller's first encounter, an eerie anticipation filled Willow Creek. The sun was fully up, casting long shadows over a town on edge. Chief Thompson had gathered key personnel at the police station, reviewing the mounting, impossible data. No clear cause, no pattern beyond the looping effect, and no solution was evident. The question on everyone's mind was whether this strange phenomenon would continue indefinitely, or if there was a defined end. The collective hope was for the latter, but dread whispered of permanent entrapment. Precisely at 7:03 a.m., as if an invisible switch had been flipped, the anomaly ceased. Officer Ben Carter, stationed on Highway 12, reported being able to drive past the Welcome to Willow Creek sign and continue without incident. His GPS immediately corrected itself, showing him moving away from town. Simultaneously, similar reports flooded into the police station from all exit points. The looping roads were gone. The radio static cleared. The disparate timestamps on devices suddenly synchronized. The 6-hour ordeal had abruptly concluded, leaving behind a profound silence and an even profounder mystery. The immediate aftermath was a mix of immense relief and overwhelming confusion. Families reunited, tearfully embracing after hours of unexplained separation. Residents who had been trapped expressed a profound sense of disorientation. It felt like a dream, but a nightmare at the same time, stated Sarah Chen. While the physical threat was gone, the psychological impact lingered. The town began to collectively process an event that defied all rational explanation, a shared trauma that would bind the community in an unusual way. The quiet morning soon filled with chatter, fear, and a desperate need for answers. In the hours following the event, Chief Thompson launched a full-scale investigation, documenting every call, every witness statement, and every piece of anomalous data. Regional authorities, including the state police and federal agencies like the FAA, were contacted. "We needed every resource available to understand this," Thompson explained. The immediate priority was to collect all available digital evidence, GPS logs, security camera footage, phone records, and any personal recordings made by residents. This mountain of data was crucial for understanding the precise nature and timing of the Willow Creek incident. Digital forensics experts, including Dr. Aries Thorne, were brought in to analyze the corrupted GPS data. Their findings were perplexing. The devices were reporting legitimate satellite signals, but the positional data was being consistently warped as vehicles approached the town's perimeter, Dr. Thorne explained. It wasn't a loss of signal, but a systematic distortion. Some logs showed vehicles driving thousands of miles in tight circles, geographically contained within a few square miles. The consistency across multiple devices and service providers ruled out individual hardware or software failures. Security camera footage from the Willow Creek town square and various businesses provided further, albeit limited, insights. While no shimmering lights were captured, the footage did show cars repeatedly passing the same points. More strikingly, some time-stamped recordings exhibited strange jumps. A camera at Miller's Hardware, for instance, showed a delivery van passing at 5:17 a.m., then the timestamp inexplicably jumped to 5:29 a.m. before the next frame, with no corresponding vehicle movement. This supported the witness accounts of glitching time and indicated the anomaly affected more than just navigation systems. One of the first avenues of investigation was to rule out natural phenomena. Meteorologists confirmed no unusual weather patterns, severe storms, or atmospheric disturbances that could account for such widespread GPS interference. Geologists found no seismic activity or magnetic field anomalies. There was no known environmental variable that could explain the phenomenon experienced in Willow Creek, stated Dr. Evelyn Reed, a lead meteorologist on the case. This eliminated convenient natural explanations, pushing the incident further into the realm of the truly unknown and unexplained. The conflicting reports regarding visual phenomena were meticulously re-examined. While Jessica Thorne maintained her account of faint, shimmering lights, other witnesses who were in close proximity at the same time could not corroborate it. Investigators considered possibilities ranging from individual perception to the unique angles of observation. It's possible some perceived a visual element due to stress or unique environmental factors, while others did not, suggested Dr. Alastair Finch, a cognitive psychologist consulting on the case. The lack of camera evidence for these visual anomalies left this aspect of the incident unresolved. Without a conventional explanation, various theories began to emerge, both from official circles and the public. Some suggested a localized electromagnetic pulse, EMP, event, though no such energy signature was ever detected. Others speculated about experimental military technology, perhaps a reality warp, a device gone awry, or even an extraterrestrial intervention. Chief Thompson stressed that his department was only interested in facts. "We can't entertain unsubstantiated claims, no matter how extraordinary the event," he stated, reinforcing the investigative stance, despite the allure of sensational explanations. The Willow Creek incident left an indelible mark on the town. While tourism initially spiked, fueled by curiosity seekers, the underlying trauma for residents remained. Many reported ongoing anxiety, distrust of technology, and a pervasive sense of vulnerability. "You never quite feel safe again when something impossible happens in your own backyard," commented resident Emily Davis. The town, once a quiet retreat, became synonymous with the inexplicable. The shared experience, however, also forged a stronger bond among its residents, united by the baffling 6 hours that defied all logic. In the months following the incident, Willow Creek became a site of quiet, ongoing surveillance. Researchers from various fields, though publicly non-committal, discreetly installed sensors and monitoring equipment around the town's perimeter. Satellite imagery was meticulously analyzed for any subtle changes, while local law enforcement maintained a heightened state of awareness. To date, no recurrence of the looping phenomenon or any other related anomaly has been reported. However, the data continues to be collected, a silent vigil against the possibility of a return, a testament to the unsettling nature of the unknown. The Willow Creek incident remains an open case, an unsolved riddle in the annals of modern phenomena. Every piece of collected evidence points to a temporary, localized distortion of space-time and possibly even temporal perception. Yet, the mechanism, the cause, and the purpose behind it remain entirely unknown. David Miller's truck, Sarah Chen's car, and Chief Thompson's patrol vehicles all confirm an objective reality. For 6 hours, Willow Creek was inaccessible, a paradox existing within our world. The facts are clear, the conclusions, however, are anything but. For Chief Thompson and his department, the lack of a conventional resolution is profoundly frustrating. "We followed every lead, interviewed every person, analyzed every byte of data," he remarked. "But there's no perpetrator, no criminal, no logical explanation." While the active investigation has scaled back, the file on the Willow Creek incident remains open, a constant reminder of the day logic took a backseat to the unexplainable. It serves as a stark reminder that even in our technologically advanced age, there are forces at play we are yet to comprehend, boundaries of reality we have not yet fully explored. Willow Creek, once an unremarkable dot on the map, is now etched into the collective memory as the town where, for 6 bewildering hours, nobody could leave. The personal accounts of the trapped residents, the distorted GPS data, the garbled emergency broadcasts, and the eerie timestamp discrepancies all converge to paint a picture of an event that fundamentally challenged our understanding of physics and reality itself. This is the story of Willow Creek, a quiet town caught in an impossible loop, and a mystery that continues to haunt the scientific community and those who lived through it. The earliest hours of June 14 painted a mosaic of isolated confusion. Many residents were asleep, unaware of the emerging anomaly. For those awake and on the move, like David Miller and Sarah Chen, their initial reactions ranged from personal error to mechanical failure. Local diner owner, Maria Sanchez, reported a delivery driver calling her at 2:45 a.m., utterly bewildered. He said he'd driven past my diner 3 times, but kept ending up back on the highway, nowhere near town, Sanchez recalled. These fragmented reports were just the initial ripples before the full tidal wave of realization struck Willow Creek. As police officers began their patrols, they established temporary roadblocks at the visible town limits, hoping to contain and understand the phenomenon. However, these efforts proved futile. Drivers approaching these checkpoints would seemingly pass them, only to reappear minutes later, having unknowingly looped back from beyond the roadblock. Officer Greg Harrison described one instance: "I saw a blue sedan pass my roadblock, fully expecting it to get stuck up ahead. 5 minutes later, the same blue sedan was driving towards me again from the town side, its driver visibly distraught." The invisible force ignored human boundaries. The breakdown in communication extended beyond local radio. Cell phone signals, while often showing bars, failed to connect calls or send data reliably outside Willow Creek. Text messages would either not send or arrive hours later with incorrect timestamps. Internet connectivity was intermittent, and attempts to access external websites or news sources were largely unsuccessful. "It was like we were in a bubble, completely cut off," reported resident Mark Johnson, who tried desperately to contact his elderly parents in a nearby town. This digital isolation compounded the physical entrapment, amplifying the sense of panic. Despite the initial chaos, the shared experience of the looping roads fostered an unusual camaraderie. Strangers in cars, stuck at the same return point, would exchange bewildered glances and then frustrated sighs. In the town square, as more people gathered, personal anecdotes turned into collective testimony. "We were all in this impossible thing together," recounted Eleanor Vance, a retired teacher. This shared ordeal, though terrifying, became a foundation for mutual support, helping prevent a complete breakdown of order amidst the unprecedented circumstances. The town pulled together in the face of the unknown. Further forensic analysis of the GPS traces from multiple vehicles revealed a consistent pattern. Instead of a direct return, the data showed an incredibly tight, almost instantaneous U-turn or a brief, phantom detour before the vehicle's position abruptly updated back to an internal town location. It wasn't a simple teleportation, there was a peculiar, almost folded-spaced element to the data, explained Dr. Thorne. The GPS units logged rapid, impossible changes in direction and speed, indicating a profound distortion of normal travel physics, even if the drivers perceived a smoother, more continuous loop. Beyond the immediate panic, the psychological toll on Willow Creek's residents was significant. Many reported feelings of extreme anxiety, dissociation, and even mild paranoia in the weeks following the incident. "I still sometimes feel like I'm going to end up back at the town sign when I drive," admitted David Miller months later. Therapists noted an increase in stress-related disorders. The event had shattered their sense of a predictable, controllable world, forcing them to confront a reality that defied their fundamental understanding of how things worked. The invisible barrier left visible scars. One of the most frustrating aspects for investigators was the utter lack of any historical or scientific precedent for such an event. While stories of unexplained disappearances or mysterious roads exist in folklore, nothing in modern, documented history matches the scale and specificity of the Willow Creek incident. We searched databases worldwide for similar phenomena, but found nothing that aligns, stated Chief Thompson. This absence of comparable cases further deepened the mystery, suggesting either a truly unique event or a phenomenon so rare and localized that it has escaped scientific observation until now. News of Willow Creek eventually spread globally, attracting widespread media attention and a flurry of theories from around the world. However, for the residents and local authorities, this global spotlight often felt intrusive and unhelpful. Everyone wants an answer, but nobody has one, lamented Officer Ramirez. The focus remained on the bizarre facts, the looping roads, the distorted GPS signals, the strange timestamps, and the emergency broadcasts that failed. The incident became a case study in unknown phenomena, a testament to the fact that even in an age of information, some mysteries remain profoundly opaque. The 6 hours that Willow Creek was trapped endure not just as a historical event, but as a living memory for those who experienced it. It serves as a powerful reminder of how fragile our perception of reality can be, and how quickly the familiar can become terrifyingly alien. What caused this temporary bubble of distorted reality? Why Willow Creek? And could it happen again? These are questions without answers, leaving the community of Willow Creek and the world at large to ponder the true extent of the unknown forces that might silently shape our world, just beyond the thin veil of our everyday perception.